Okay, we've got to dive into some of the music now. You came on the show, and then I believe right after you came out with the song "No Excuses," and it was such a good song. And I missed the opportunity, so we have to go all the way back, and we have to talk about that one. We were chatting before this about the anterior mid-cingulate cortex and how fascinating that is. And I'm just curious as to how that song came about, and again, some of the people that informed that mindset.
Yeah, so that's an interesting one actually. It's got a cool backstory. So me, futuristic, Anakin, Oswin Benjamin, who else was there? A bunch of artists. Okay, we rented a beautiful, beautiful mansion in Sedona for like a 3 to 5 day artist retreat we did, and so we're in this beautiful, beautiful house with the intention of making music over the next 5 days. Maybe we get on each other's songs, whatever. But just again, new place. The window had a gigantic mountain range outside of it, just out of control. So everyone was very inspired. Now, I am listening to songs that have good vibes on them. It feels kind of like summertime or just like, a good time with friends. And again, brick wall after brick wall after brick wall. I think I was just forcing the environment onto the songs and it just wasn't right. But what ended up happening, right? So the next morning, I'm on the balcony, we're smoking hookah, and George, my manager, comes up to me and he's like, "Yo, this dude Tantu sent me some beats. Let me know if you mess with any of them." So he has his phone next to my ear. I was like, "Nope, nope." Plays the third or fourth one. I was like, "Send me that." So he sends me No Excuses. So now after 2 days of not being able to write anything, I lock myself in my room and for 5 hours am pacing across this room writing because it pulled this energy out of me of like, man, like I'm the shit. That's what it felt like. And also it's when I get in those spaces of being unable to write, self-doubt washes over you, right? Like, oh my God, I've been trying to write for 2 days. I can't do shit. Is something wrong with me? Do I have writer's block? Am I not talented? So when you finally catch this wave of motivational energy to write the record, you ride that thing. So I wrote for hours on end, wrote the whole thing there, and then recorded it when I got back to the crib, back at my house. And yeah, so it went from not being able to write to writing like a 3 minute no hook song just about like breaking barriers and pushing through adversity.
Which really links up nicely with the idea of the anterior mid-cingulate cortex, which I'm getting very comfortable rolling off my tongue now.
No, there's practice there.
Which is this idea of like you can develop grit. Like you mentioned David Goggins and running like David Goggins, and that idea that you're going to get up, and he talks about how he stares at his shoes before he goes for a run and goes like, I don't want to do this. And then he goes, shut up, you're going to do this and you're going to get it done. And I'm just curious as to your lay of the land. You do see out into the world, and it seems like we're so soft. Like when I tell people all the things that I'm managing, they're like, wow, you're really busy. And it's like, why aren't you? Like there's so much life to live here. Like nobody's standing in your way. The whole idea of a free country is you can go get after it. You can max out your day with stuff to do. You can schedule it so it works for you. Jordan Peterson does a great job of saying like, you can make sure to include the fun things you want to do in a day. Your schedule isn't like restricting you to boring meetings. You can fill it up with the things you actually want to do. And it just seems like, well, like we want 4-day work weeks, we want less work, we want to lay around more, we want to beach in Mexico where we don't have to do anything. And it's like, but where are you making an impact? Where are you influencing people? Where are you growing things to be better for others? Like that's where I feel like you do such a good job of that song of being like, go get after it. There's no one stopping you, and there's these other examples in the world that you can look to grow. And I find that so inspirational, but sort of missing from like the culture.
So I think because I won't say everyone, most people, let's say, work in jobs that they don't necessarily love, they think they want to do nothing, right? Like, oh, I can't wait for the weekend so I could just not do this, right? So I could just chill the fuck out. But I think I was talking to my dad about it. I was like, everyone thinks they want to do nothing until they have the ability to do nothing. And then you'll realize how bad doing nothing sucks. Sitting and doing nothing, what is it? Idle hands at the devil's playground. Is that the saying?
Yeah.
It's so freaking true because the days I don't do this anymore, but in the past when I would spend it a whole day, 2 days doing nothing, you do not feel good. And I think that's because you lack purpose. There is no purpose in doing nothing. No one says you have to go after these things to make money or have accolades or this stature of success, but it's purpose driven. You waking up and doing nothing for yourself or for anybody else, whether that's you did some push-ups, congratulations, you did something for yourself, or you did something that helped someone else. Like you have this joy within you now because your life has some sense of meaning, right? So I think everyone misinterprets when they're getting yelled at by David Goggins that well, that's I don't want to do that. I don't want to be ripped. I don't want to be rich. Fair. You don't need to be. But action will make you feel a lot better than inaction, to put it very simply.
I couldn't agree more. And they just kind of prove out the test case, right? Like he's willing to go do that. So you know that it's possible. So you know that you have no excuses, that you can go and chase whatever you want to do and go succeed. But I'm just wondering, when you make a song like that, is there any ability to process the fact that that is fuel to people's fire? That I take it into the gym, that other people take it out on a run, and they're able to run longer, move faster, and that you're putting that energy into the world, that hopefully all those listeners are able to rise to the occasion in their own lives. And you're able to contribute. Like, I get so nervous for interviews with you because I'm like, that's your contribution. Like, that's a huge contribution to give to the world to encourage them to reach their full potential.
So I wouldn't say I go in with that specific intention when I create. It's more so just a beautiful byproduct of creating what I can only create, which is impactful shit. And I don't say that on some like, I only know how to make music that helps people. That's not what I mean. I mean, like, again, going back to what I said earlier, is I have no reasoning. It lacks purpose to put out songs for the sake of making songs. So, as selfish as it sounds, I make these songs because I want to feel something or I need to purge an energy. And it just so happens that when you're that true to yourself and the intention is that pure, it resonates with people. So I love that it can do that for people and motivate them, but I can't motivate people if I'm not motivated. So it's just these really raw emotions of whether it's motivating, I can motivate you, or whether I'm sad and I make a sad song reflecting, I can make you feel not alone. But at the end of the day, it's got to come from a very, very real place. Love that it impacts people in whatever fashion, but that cannot be my target from the jump. Otherwise, it's just misguided.